Hey everyone, my name is Paul and welcome to my second tutorial on C++. Now, where we left off last time was just a simple application that was able to print out Hello World. So, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how we're going to basically just learn variables. Now, a variable is anything you can store a value in. So you can kind of imagine like a little box, right? And that is your variable. Anything that you put in the box is a value. Now, anytime in the program, you can actually just recall that variable and it'll print out or basically call the value of that. So what I mean by that is in the initial function, what we have to do is let's do a simple number. So for instance, we have to initialize it since initial just means a number that we're going to deal with. So we're going to name this number. And then whatever we want this number to equal, let's say 10 semicolon. So what we can do here is we can basically, if you want to keep that, we can just do count, and then what we have to do is we have to recall it. So we don't need the quotations because quotations mean we're printing out what's inside here. But if we just printed out what's inside here, it would literally just be number. So basically what we need to do is no quotations and then end line. So now what it's going to do is it's going to recall whatever the value is in here, which is 10. So you go ahead and debug that, build, and there you go. So you just have the world, hello world, and you have the 10. So we can just get rid of that line altogether, and we can go ahead and start without debugging, build, and it'll still bring you your 10. Alright, so now we can do something interesting. We can do number. So let's say we want to add the number with another number. Easy. We just do another initial, and we can name this number 2. Now wherever we want to equal this, we can say 10. What we can do is here, all we need to do is put this in parentheses, add number 2. Now what it's going to do here is, you remember in math you have to have parentheses. So that's pretty much what we're doing, and this is addition. So all we're going to do is number, which is this, plus number 2. So if we went ahead and start without debugging, we're going to get 20. Now we can do the same thing with subtraction. All we have to do, now it's just going to subtract number versus number 2. And then it should give you 0. Now we can also do division. So let's do that, and it's going to give you 1. Pretty simple. Now what about multiplication? Multiplication is pretty much what you see in multiplication. It's just a little star in it, star key. So we can go ahead, build it. Now it gives you 100. So we've covered addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Pretty simple, right? Awesome. Hey everyone. So I just went ahead and cleared up my screen so we can get a fresh new start. So we're going to go ahead and learn about strings. So a string is basically just a sequence of characters, and it could be a word, a sentence, or whatever. But before we get started, we are going to need to add a new header, and it's going to be called include string. So once you have that, we can go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is we have to initiate it. So we'll say string, and then we're going to call it something. We're going to call it hello. Now we need to give this variable a value. Now the value will be hello there. So what we can do, and make sure you put that in line. So now if we see out hello, I'm sorry, you don't need to inline that. So now if we see out hello, it basically will give us that variable right there. So we'll go ahead, start with debugging, and boom, hello there. So let's say you're given a task like, hey, you're given an application where you want the user to enter in their name. So we want the computer to ask them, what is your name? And then you enter in your name. So we can say, hello there, what is your name? So now it's going to count that out, right? It's going to push that out, and what we're going to do is we're going to need to do a new function called cin. Now, this is when the user can enter in a value. So now that we have to put the brackets inwards, because the cout is out, the cin is going to be inward towards it. So what we have to do is we're going to do name. This is declaring a new variable. So that means we have to create a new one. So we have to do string, and we're going to call it same thing, name. Now we don't equal it to anything because the user is going to be able to enter in whatever the value is. So if we went ahead and did that, it'll be hello, what is your name? And now you can enter in something like Paul. And then boom, press any key to continue. So now we have the very first part. So now we want the computer to, or the application to spit out your name. So what we can do is another cout, and then we'll say, well, hello, space. Now we're gonna add it. We're gonna add the value of whatever the user enters in. So we'll just have to say it name, and then we'll go ahead and inline that. So when we go ahead and start without debugging, that'll go up and say, hello there, what is your name? And you'll say Paul. And it'll say, well, hello, Paul. And there you go. All right, so that's it for today. We pretty much learned strings, some basic variables and values, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and more of the input outputs. On our next video, we will be learning some loops, so for loops, while loops, if loops, all the fun jazz. And we can start building more and more complex applications and stuff like that. So guys, I hope you stay tuned, and I hope you'll have a great rest of your day. Bye.